I feel like you shouldn't cast anything out if you don't try it. Whenever I have my child, bro, like my parents did to me as they could, as much as they could in Cuba and then over here too. I feel like we should encourage like the young people to just like try everything out. Try everything out. See what you like, because I think it's important to.
Welcome to another episode of Deep Thoughts. Today we have Igor on the show. Igor is an artist, a writer, and a fashion mogul. Definitely check out his work and enjoy the show. Do you guys ever think about like your biggest fears?
Biggest fears, yeah, definitely, bro. You know what? We can be like super deep about this, or we can be like very broad. Like, I feel like my deepest fear is probably like drowning.
Drowning?
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I don't know if it's my deepest fear. I don't know if hopefully I never put myself in a situation where I drown, or like it never happens. But if you think about it, I think that's more like, like the worst way to die, in my opinion. But I feel like people feared. I feel like I feared sometimes change.
I mean, yeah.
Period, bro. Like just change is crazy sometimes, and it's just like, fuck, this is about to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's excitement. It depends.
Well, yeah, it's like the fear of the unknown, right? With change.
Bro, you ever think about death?
Yeah. That's one of those, because the reason I asked you guys, like recently I was thinking about like, because one of the fears I thought about was like, what if I'm in a perpetual cycle of just repeating my conditioned patterns? Like
for a next life type shit?
No, like right now, like in this life, like I'm just in a perpetual cycle of just repeating kind of like certain behaviors and patterns. And what if I don't realize that because like I'm in it?
Yeah.
Because it's hard. Like, because I've like last year I realized, oh wow, like I was like repeating things and doing things kind of like on autopilot.
Okay.
So that's like one of my biggest fears. Like, I guess would be like being on autopilot and just like repeating.
And kind of like not helping yourself towards a betterment or something like that. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, man. I feel like, I don't know. People fear a lot of. I fear a lot of things. I don't want to say people, but when I say people, like just know I'm talking like about
because
myself.
I mean, fear is important. Like it helps us stay alive, right? You know not to go around certain things, not to do certain things.
Yeah, man. It's what do you fear? You got any fears?
I'm in a picture too. All right, so I'll be honest. I'll be brutally honest. Once I started to kind of dive into who I am as a person, I realized that a lot of what we fear or our limitations are programmed. And I don't mean that in the broadest state, like, oh, yo, you've been programmed ever since you was a kid, or you was no. What I mean by that is, even now in this day and age, right, being afraid of cycles, being stuck in a loop, repeating the same continuous like behaviors.
Yeah,
that's because you're not aware of them. But the second you become aware of those behaviors, like saying that, oh, I realized that I was in this state, last year I was, repeating the cycle. Once whoa, I was in that? You broke through that. Mm-hmm. And if you ever went back to it, it's because you had the information, but you decided by choice to continue doing, whatever cycle or staying in that loop that you were in. And that's how it works for every fear almost. Like, you're afraid of the unknown. But the second that unknown becomes known, it's like an expansion. That GTA map is expanded if you've ever played the game. Once you go to an unknown location, you now know it. So it's not as scary anymore.
100%. That's a nice way of putting it when thinking about overcoming fear.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have an example. For example, I'm quitting my job. I'm not quitting. I put in my time. Like since
Yeah.
last month, I was like, oh, um, I'm quitting at the end of January,
Yeah.
and it's because multiple things. I have goals, and this job just takes away like most of my time. So it's like, bro, I ain't trying to have you take away most of my time. Whenever this is not even what I want to do. This is
Yeah.
a thing that I do for currency to
Yeah.
then do
Yes.
what I want to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and nothing. There's just more jobs with more flexible jobs, more flexible schedules, and just less time consuming and more rewarding.
Yeah.
Money is not at all like my main worry, but I definitely need that shit to do what I want. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
of
saying?
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro. Like I kind of had a fear to just go through with that. I was like, like whenever if you ever worked at a place and you want to put in your 2 weeks, I don't know if it works like that for everybody, but me, I'm like extra nervous. Like, fuck, I'm about to talk to the. Can we curse here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
So I was like, oh, I'm about to like talk to his manager and be like, yo, I don't want to work over here anymore. And usually it goes with an okay. They really can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, they can't keep you. You're not under a contract or anything. And so whatever. Like, I thought I was being nice because I was putting my time in. It wasn't even 2 weeks in. I put in December. I told them that a month from now I'm not working there anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely had that fear, and then once I did it, I was like, oh, okay. And now I go to my job, and it's like super chill, more chill than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, like I'm doing my thing, bro. I'm pulling up like 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late. Why they gonna do? Fire me now, bro? I already told them I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Anxiety is lifted, man. It's no longer like
Yeah, man. I was anxious. I was anxious about putting my time in, about being like, boom, like that's that. I think that also the fear of, okay, by the end of January, I'm not gonna have a job. I still gotta go and find some money to go ahead and do stuff. So I either have to find another job, go through interviews, maybe like, hopefully like some shit pops off, and I ain't gotta do that shit. But
It's funny, man. That's funny because the second that you start to put yourself in those positions where, I guess fear does come pop up. How am I gonna get money? How am I gonna do this or do that? Once you're put in those positions, you find ways to make money, and it's like this. And after you get those, those new ways, you're happy that you did it.
yeah, man. Yeah,
It's
sure.
being in those uncomfortable waters that make you who you are. It really, it promotes growth.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. And yeah, bro, it's like I said, a fear of change sometimes. Like the people that worry about me, that know like my situation, what I'm telling you guys right now about the job and all of that, they go like, okay, so like what's next? So like what is it that you're gonna do after you don't have this job? And I'm like, yo, I'm not exactly sure right now, but like you know what I'm saying? And then if anything, I'm gonna be free for a little bit to go ahead and put the time in, because sometimes it's just you just gotta invest time. It's not about sometimes going out there and doing like deliveries or something like that. You put time and get money back, but maybe you can use that time to record some, and that's just time investment. Like time equals money for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's just that.
Time can relate to anything. You can get some valuable experience from that,
Yeah, man.
And I agree.
Bro, driving over here and just speaking to you guys and just sitting here, like there's gonna be an outcome to this, and it's not necessarily monetary at the moment, but just period. It's gonna be this is all just purposeful, and it's time investment, and it's like chill.
Dope.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel like it's really cool, and like I feel like you take your like work ethic to another level when you're like working for yourself or on yourself. Like you're able to work on your passion, and it's really dope when you have the time and you have the resources to do so.
Yeah, bro. It's scary, but dope. Because fear is a motherfucker, bro.
Yeah, fear. Fear can
It's a
cripple you.
motherfucker.
Yeah, it can cripple you.
It could, bro. I feel like it does keep a lot of people from advancing. You know, like themselves, like not even like getting richer or whatever, but
Yeah.
richer themselves. Like I feel like, for example, I performed for the first time on October 14th in Roots, and bro, I was scared, bro. I was scared shitless, but my boy that used to do marketing for Roots, he like put me on, and he was like, "Yo, like I got you this headliner gig." It was when like Roots opened up for the first time after the pandemic, and I was scared because it was like, "Bro, are you down to perform this date?" It's not like, oh, whenever you wanna perform.
Yeah.
Because me being scared, I was gonna keep on like postponing that
pushing it back.
motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Nah, bro. I was scared and I went ahead and I did that shit, bro. Like shaking in the inside,
Yeah.
sweating, bro. But I did that shit. And then once I performed for the first time, I was like, bro, I can't believe it. Like this
Yeah.
feels so good. Like
Yes.
I gotta do this shit again.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Damn.
I know you relate.
Oh, I
you do
definitely
music
do.
too?
Nah.
You don't do music?
Yeah, no.
I've seen this guy plenty
Yeah.
of times, and I know that you relate, cause bro, like this
he,
guy.
he probably has a similar story.
Yeah, bro. The thing is that you are comfortable on stage, and that's from performing plenty of
Oh,
times.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, at least from my perspective,
Yeah.
you always get nerves, and then you learn to think about it as excitement, because at first you don't know that you're gonna be good. But then when you perform a couple times, you know that you're excited. But once you perform like the first hook, you're gonna be good, bro. Like like the first song, and then the next three are gonna be like, okay, like I did that shit. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
got it.
keep
I
on
know
going.
what to do. Yeah, I'm good now.
So I see you. I see you.
It's funny that you mentioned that because maybe this is just me, but when I'm in the moment, as you said, it's nerves. Like it's how am I gonna make this? How am I gonna get through this? Can I get through this? You know, all of these things just go on in your head, in my head. And from the outside looking in, like everybody else who's watching the stage and watching you perform, to them it looks like you're doing a masterful job up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in
Yeah.
actuality, I'm like, dog, I just missed that last word. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, I just messed up, you know? And then you get off stage and everybody's like, whoa. And that just gives me like the motivation and courage to do it again. It makes me feel good that I made you feel good, if that makes sense, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
You know what's an interesting process that happens to me? I just notice it. Whenever I'm doing a song for the first time, I go and I rehearse, depending on how difficult the song is. Some songs are easier than others. But sometimes I be fucking up in like little parts of the song. Like even while rehearsing. And then when I go up, I'm like in my head, I'm like, bro, I might fuck up. Like maybe yeah, maybe not, but I just really hope I don't. And then I go up and I either nail that part and fuck up somewhere else, or just fuck up in that part, and it just happens on the first one, like the first time I perform it. Once I get off of that, and people tell me, yo, that was fire, like I'm beating myself over, like, yeah, but I missed that word, I missed that pronunciation, or whatever. The next time I do it, since I overcame that, like, okay, this was the first time, for some reason it's already instilled in my head, and I go and nail it like after that. Super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The psychology of I don't know, stage.
memory combined with nerves. Sometimes, like all that shit is just like insane, bro. Cause you just gotta remember some shit word by word, and when it comes to your shit, it's different, because when you singing somebody else's music, you're like in a comfort. You listening to if you know a song and you listen to it a lot of times, and you like, you shower, like it pops up in your head, like when you're not even like listening and all of that. But then it will be completely different if I tell you, okay, now go on stage and perform that word by word. So crazy.
Yeah, I always give props to artists and comedians and people who go on stage and perform, because
It's something.
Yeah, the pressure is real. I
It's
mean,
something.
once you do it, like you get more comfortable, but making that leap to actually do it,
Yeah, man. You
That's what
are
takes the real
basically
courage.
saying, fuck it. You saying every time, literally. It's like, okay, all of you guys over here, I'm about to do something, and whether I don't know what you guys are gonna think about it. Basically, you can't care about what they're. You gotta care. I mean, I care to provide something that my audience enjoys, but in reality, I'm just experimenting myself, bro. I don't know. I think it sounds good, so I'm gonna like.
You're expressing yourself,
Yeah,
dude. And
basically.
when it comes to self-expression, you just gotta, I don't know, just express yourself.
Yeah.
Because
So
the
that's
second you hold back, you're, oh, maybe they won't like this. Once you start putting those things in play, you're bound for like, the other way. You're bound
man.
for like failure.
And I feel like
It's
people
just-
respect that. People
Yeah.
respect that you just go up there and you do it. Because regardless of what it is, it's just like, bro, that's what you think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
Super fire.
Yeah, I was stalking your page and like a bunch of other stuff, and I was I was doing research. I was doing research, and I saw you're from Cuba, right? And like
Cuba, yeah.
you came 8th grade, right?
I came on 8th grade. I came over here in 8th grade.
How would you say like the differences are from being raised here and being raised in Cuba? Like comparing.
Wow, bro, that's a super interesting question, and I have a lot to say about it. So hopefully these thoughts come out organized somehow.
All right.
But yeah, basically I'm 24 now, and I came when I was 12, and I turned 13 over here. So in the year that I came over, I came in July. I turned 13 on September, and so yeah, like literally half of my life I was there, half of my life I've been here, and I was there from when I was born till 12, which is 7th grade. At least I was in 7th grade back then. And this is the country of the free, but when it comes to childhood, and this might have been different back in the day. I just grew up somewhere else, so I don't know. Kids over here don't have half the freedom that kids over there have, and I don't know why it is. I don't know if it's definitely technology plays a role, but then technology when it comes to like PlayStations and like Xbox and stuff like that, that's not really like lack of freedom. That's just them not choosing to go outside and play. But yeah, bro, being raised in Cuba from the time that I was in like 4th, 5th grade till I left, I used to leave my house for school, come back. My parents were still like not at the crib from work, so I would either I wouldn't do homework. Hated that shit, bro. So unless I was being like really pressed on, I wouldn't do homework. I would just like change and go outside and play until it was dark time. I ate something. Whenever it got just dark, I knew I had to head back. And if I didn't, my mom would literally walk and look around the neighborhood, asking people, "Hey, have you seen Igor?" or whatever. So yeah, that was that, man. And that could be good and that could be bad. Parents over there, they prepare you for the street, kind of like, everybody's walking. You just walking around like your whole neighborhood. You can walk a whole lot into another one or whatever. And yeah, just without scaring you, because they don't want to like, forbid you from like just hanging out with your friends and doing this and that. They let you know what's up. They're like, yo, like, take different routes at certain times, this and that. But yeah, what I'm trying to say with that is it was a very sane childhood over there, because Cuba is like stopped in time. So everything that technological wise or whatever, especially back then, like we just got internet, like stuff like that. So the kids are like literally out there. Kids are playing baseball, they're playing volleyball, soccer. They're just out there doing like kid stuff, falling, coming back home with like hella scratches, just like building up a little cart out of like wood and pallets or whatever to like, just doing kid stuff. So yeah, man, my childhood, I had a couple of broken bones and broken heads from just like doing hood rat stuff with my friends, literally. But yeah, and then compared to Miami, coming over, it's different. The city, so Havana is more of a city than Miami is in the aspect of it's older, first of all, and it's just like more street, more concrete, more. I've never been to New York, but in comparison to Miami, some cities are just like just more like built on. Miami's relatively new, relatively modern, and there's still a lot of like green areas.
It's jungle city.
Yeah, it's Everglades, and over there it's different. It's just like concrete, you know what I'm saying, and then it's surrounded by water, so you got the coast and the bay and the beach or whatever. But yeah, I feel like the way the city over here is set up, where you don't have like a bunch of like public transportation, and like it would be weird if you see like little ass just like walking around like that and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, over here I feel like your parents just take you everywhere, and you go on like play dates pretty much, where they drop you off in the park, and they know you're not gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, I remember my parents never really let me go out.
You go out, and then like either your parents drop you off, and then your friends' parents pick you guys up, drop you all off. Like you carpool. I remember my dad picking up, like going through 3 different houses. I'm like, bro, if my kid, like growing up, I was like, bro, if my kid ever tells me to do this shit, I'll be so pissed. And I know they were low key pissed, like, but they would literally like pick 3 of my friends up from different houses, take us to point A, and then drop them all off before going back home.
It was a field trip.
Yeah, man. To me, that was cool, bro. I was picking up everybody. I didn't even drive it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the difference in. I feel like it's the difference in one, culture, and 2, maybe resources, and maybe. I don't know. It's over there. It's just. I like to say it's same, but I think it also has to do with the time. It has to do with the time that I grew up. I was born in '97, and then I feel like for society, like from there till pretty much like 2010, it was golden years. You know what I'm saying? Where like kids weren't being born with cell phones in their faces and learning how to use them by 1 year old.
Okay. So I think you mentioned it. You said it was culture. I think culture has the biggest play in it. So when you're coming from like a different Caribbeans or somewhere else, and you come into a new country where it's all new, it's all different. Everybody around you is different from you, and because I can relate this to me. My parents are Haitian, I'm Haitian descent, and where we lived when I was growing up, it was very, how do I say, like I had the freedom to go outside, of course, I was always outside. I was riding my bike, I was playing, like I had so many kids around my neighborhood, and we would all just meet up in my backyard and play. Like I had a hoop, I had everything. Yeah. And what I noticed is that's kind of how it is for a lot of, people who come into this country, a lot of families that come into this country. You're going to be around your community. You're going to be in your community 100%. Because, they're like you. Like, you want to be around people who look like you. So, and I feel like when it comes to for an example, the African Americans or, white Americans or whatever, they have more of that freedom to go out and, just check out their community, walk around, go to different places, because they're not held back by the families that came over here and don't have that, I don't know, just the knowledge of, their own community, the community that's around them. That's how I feel. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's real. There's no fact or basis for that. Yeah.
That's why I'm being super careful, because like what I'm explaining here is just like pretty much my experience. Yeah, your experience. And then I moved into a certain area of Coral Gables when I first moved in here. and that's the thing about the states in those areas. I feel like places like what's considered the hood or whatever, like people been there for years and stuff. So like they know each other, they know the neighbors, they know this and that. But I feel like a lot of times in certain neighborhoods, and my experience, the ones that I've been in, like people don't know who lives right next to them,
Yeah.
or they don't like back at home in Cuba, like everybody knew who I was because my family had been living there for years, and I knew who my neighbor was. I knew like we were friends. Like everybody is just friends. It's more of a communal way in an aspect. Like you knock on your neighbor's door to ask him for like a little bit of sugar or something like that. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have it at the crib at the moment, or like yeah, just that. Like if you and I grew up on the same block, we were friends, bro. We were meeting up at a certain time, like right there in our block, and we were setting up rocks or like bases to play baseball. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like some people do have that experience here, but it does have to do with, certain areas where people are like, more together in that aspect.
Yeah, I feel like it really depends where you are.
Yeah, man. Over here, I feel like America is a little bit of like every man by themselves in one aspect. You don't think about that when you're a kid, but
I think now, yes, it's starting to.
Little bit. I mean, and that's obviously not everybody. And that's why art is so important because it brings so many people together. So that's fire. But yeah, man, the difference are a lot. But when you're a child, you only care about certain stuff. Like, my sister that's 2 years older than me, she came in when she finished 9th grade over there. And then she came in on 10th. So this change for her was way more drastic because she's already a person in sophomore year of high school. I was coming in on 8th grade, and I was chilling. Like,
did you know English at the time, or did you know a little bit? Or?
I knew a little bit. My mom always. There's 11 million people in Cuba on paper, and most of those people's, like a lot of those people, it's really trying to get out of Cuba. Like it's really a lot of people's goals in life in Cuba is to just get out. If you get out of Cuba, you made it. So that was my mom and dad's goal for a very long time, and knowing that and knowing kind of the steps that they wanted to take moving forward, I studied English for like 8 years. Now, I tell you this, when I came over here, I was like, bro, I don't know shit. When I came over here, I saw people speaking and all of that. But, they do this thing that's called ESO. ESO classes.
I had it for like a year.
You was on ESO? Are you? Do you move over here?
No, I was born here, but
your first language was just Spanish.
Yeah, Spanish.
I guess that shit, bro. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You could be from anywhere, literally. Like you look from. If you tell me that right now, like somewhere else, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, I get all over the place. Like some people say like Trinidad, and some people say like Middle Eastern.
Literally.
North Africa, like I get.
Exactly. So I was like Spanish, and then like I was so glad that I was right. But what's your descendant?
Mexican and Honduras, yeah.
Nice mix, bro. I feel like that's a thing that is very unique about Miami, in my opinion. I've lived like elsewhere before, and I feel like in Miami, it was so amazing to me because me being in Cuba, everybody Cuban, and if you're not, everybody knows that you're not because it's just like that's so odd, And then over here, everybody is like half Colombian, half Honduran, half Bahamian, half Haitian, half Cuban, half whatever. There's a lot of half Cubans, half something, but there's a lot of half everything, and that's amazing. That's people that it's just an immigrant city. And that just it gives us so much culture. Like that's insane to me. Like I had Brazilian friends, that moved into Miami, and before they knew English, they knew Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, what? Like, that's amazing, bro. But yeah, with the English thing, um, yeah, I was put in ESO, and then the people I was put in ESO 1 because if you come in, that's where they put you, just for you, like, to not be super stressed. Like, if you know some English, it's gonna be an easy class. If you don't know any English, it's still the easiest class that you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get a class in whatever language that is, which it's kind of interesting because it's very easy if you know Spanish, but then not everybody that's put in ESO knows Spanish. So I'm pretty sure they struggle a little bit more, but at the same time, they're more forced to like go ahead and learn the language, because that's a problem that a lot of people have. A lot of people pull up to, especially Miami, and since everybody around them, and especially in those classes, speak Spanish, then they're like, bro, like, I made 10 friends and they're from all different part of the world, and I don't even have to speak English to relate to them. So like, I don't, have you ever been to a place and nobody speaks English there?
Yeah, there's parts of Miami where like you don't need to know English. Like,
yeah, man, you can literally find a job and like not even know the language. But that was what happened, bro. Because I had the base, I had those 8 years of
the foundation,
of half knowing something. Oh, it helped me a lot. I was, they keep you in ESO. If you're like one of those students that came and you kind of like middle age in that like high school, middle school, whatever, you gotta pass the FCAT or whatnot by a certain year to be able to graduate. And what they do is they keep you in ESO even though they know that you're proficient, just so you get like extra time and help when taking the exam, which I think is cool coming from the teachers. But bro, if I know the language, you could have literally put me on some like dual enrollment stuff and get me advanced. But whatever, you don't care. You're comfortable, like if you pass in that, that's basically your English class when you keep on going. But yeah, bro, I was out of ESO by 10th grade. That's 2 years in, because 10th grade was like the mark. And yeah, definitely knowing a little bit helped me.
Yeah.
Super amazing.
Did you know when you were in Cuba? Did you know like about like America and like, I mean not did you know, but like the lifestyle, like that we lived here. Did you know anything about it, or
you have movies, and then what happens in Cuba is that since you're like so blocked information wise from everything else, you kind of like in your own bubble. On the news, they only put ugly stuff about the United States. Like they would always put like war stuff, and when it was Iraq, like Iraq stuff. When it was like stuff that they do in Guantanamo stuff like that. So you can't really rely on the news. You can only rely on people that have been out and have been back. They show you pictures or whatever. And then what happens is that Cuba, being a poor country and therefore a poor touristic country and therefore cheap to the tourist, if you are from the States and you bring a little bit of money over there, it's a lot of money. It's a little bit for you. It's a lot of money over there. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that that will lead you, if you never had nothing, bro. This happens in the hood too. If you never had nothing and all of a sudden you come up, you kind of go back and like stunt on your peoples. Sometimes it happens to some personalities, like especially if you were never like, I guess, noticed, or that's why you're like seeking for attention or whatnot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of people used to like leave to the States, and then on like during the summer, like work their ass off over here or whatever, like just regular how it should be, and then go back to Cuba and just stunt on people and all of that. So a lot of people get it. So where I'm going with that is that a lot of Cubans, because they don't know any better, a lot of Cubans that live over there, they get a lot of misconceptions. And the misconceptions leads them to kind of like really want to way out, because they're like, oh, I'm trying to be like that. Yeah. And then when they come out here, they like reality hits, because the United States, what it is the first world. And the truth is, you gotta hustle. You gotta work your ass off. And a lot of people just over there just not knowing any better they think it's cake. They think it's just like, oh, once I make it out, I made it. That's it. And it's not even like that. But that's just in an overall point of view. My personal point of view, my mom used to work at the United States. I'm gonna call it embassy, but it's not really an embassy. It's an office. It's called Office of Interest, and it's because the governments don't have like relationships. They don't have embassies. They have Office of Interest, and then you do all your paperwork to like go back and forth through there. They have one in Havana, one in Washington, and my mom used to work at the Havana one. Therefore, she got to travel to the United States and like twice before we moved here. So she traveled here on uh 99 and then 2000, something like that.
Yeah.
And then my dad came in 2001. I believe my dad was here when 9/11 happened. But he was just visiting. He was literally just here to work a little bit and get some money to bring back to Cuba. But yeah, that's kind of like where my perspective of the United States came from. Just my parents, personally, like having been here and then going back there and telling me about it, showing me stuff. But they knew what's up. They knew how it was, and that helps me. Like they were really focused on what they wanted. They were really like,
That's dope.
They were like, "Yo, we trying to leave. we trying to stay over there." Thing is that it's weird. Like, you can't just like leave. You know what I'm saying? They were getting visas, but they were like work visas because my mom used to work there. But it's a whole different ball game if you stay. Like if you stay and you're trying to get if you here and you stay, there used to be a dry foot, wet foot law which allow you to stay in the United States as a Cuban. You know, other immigrants didn't have that, but because Cuba was communism and it was like it's still communist, and it was like I don't know. It was a way of the United States to, and they should do that for other people too. Like people that is at war. I don't know if they do that, but basically they give you papers because it's like a humanitarian cause.
Yeah.
You know, when people experience, when certain countries experience humanitarian crisis, they like the United States kind of like allows them to pull up.
Yeah.
And you know they hand them like their papers and whatnot. But then the process of family reunification, it's weird. It could take from a year to 2 years to 5 years to 10 years. It really depends on how the laws are at the moment. And it's a tough decision. So I feel like when my parents were coming over, we were still jits. So they were really worried about how we as little kids would take family separation. And thanks to the universe, when my dad came over and he stayed, it only took a year for us to get back together. So I didn't see my dad for a year, and then boom, we're together in the States. Yeah. Success, you know, because it could have really been like different. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, bro, that was my experience coming over here, and coming over here was super stimulating, bro. Everything. Like I remember, like I walked into a gas station in Little Havana where my dad used to work at, and I bit into this huge apple, bro. They were like, "Oh, grab whatever." I picked a huge apple, bro. First thing I ever ate, coming over here, and to me that was crazy. And I had never seen an apple that big. And then I bit into that shit, and shit was trash, bro. It was trash. It had no flavor. And then later on years, I learned that they be injecting shit to make shit bigger and whatever over here. But back then, bro, it was amazing. And also that gas station had more products, bro. A gas station in Little Havana. I want to go back there to see my perspective of it now. Yeah. But a gas station in Little Havana had more products than most of the stores, like supermarkets in Havana City. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy as heck, bro.
Damn. Yeah. And the stores in Cuba, right? Aren't they like? They're all like all only one label, right? Like only one.
They have different labels. When it comes to like the name. Yeah. But they're all government owned. Yeah. Which is crazy because, you know, they do whatever they want with that, and then the produce like fruits and all of that. They have farmers markets, but they're like very highly taxed on. And so I recently learned this term here in the States, and it's called misfits. Misfits are the fruits that are still good but not like visually appealing.
Yeah, they shaped weirdly, right?
Yeah, if they're like shaped weirdly, or if they have like a little something, they won't put it in the supermarket. They would just like put it aside and either sell it for cheaper or like donate it or something like that. But on the supermarket, they want it to look good, so people go ahead and buy them. Which makes me think about mushrooms, but I'll tell you about that later. I feel like I'm gonna tell you about that real quick.
Go ahead.
I feel like mushrooms, like the ones that we eat normally, like not the traveling ones, but the other ones, like the ones that we consume. Bro, I went to like this Asian restaurant, and they had this Asian market, and they had this mushrooms, and I bought them, but they were like super weird, and also in texture they were different. And to me, I was like, bro, I don't want this shit. Like, I only like tried them a couple times, and they kind of like disgusted me a little bit. But that's because that was like a raw, natural, like Asian market. You know what I'm saying? And that made me think about misfits. It made me think about, I'm probably just buying and eating this portobello mushrooms or whatever mushrooms because they look good on their little packet, and they're all like perfect, and they're all like little balls and the same size. Yeah. You know, so it's like, damn, like this is very mental that I don't like this mushrooms from the Asian market right now.
It's all about appearance and
yeah, man. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy to think about. But going back to the Cuba thing, the population, they get sold only misfits, only high priced misfits, and then the good looking stuff, they put it in, resorts, hotels. It's all for the tourists. Yeah. Wow. Basically. So if you go to Cuba as a tourist, you're pretty much gonna have a very nice experience. But population completely different. Damn. And then of course there's classes. There's like a middle. The highest class, of course, is
it's like government.
Yeah, it's military. If there's only like a couple ways to go. It's like military, or you work on whatever other aspect. But if you're like a doctor, not it. You're not gonna get paid, bro. Which sucks, you know. But it's just, if you're a teacher, you're not gonna get paid.
When you came here, did you miss anything?
So when I came over, I was highly stimulated. Like
you were like, fuck that.
Yeah, bro. I was really like.
I mean, I could imagine, like, like everything is new and like.
Yeah, man. I was highly stimulated. Like everything was dope to me. As I said, like, the PlayStation that just came out, the Xbox, the Wii, the YouTube, bro. You can look up anything on YouTube, anything. Yeah, I was like, bro, this shit is crazy. The internet,
this video,
bro, crazy, bro. Like the internet. I was very stimulated by those stuff that I never had. And then what happens is I grew up. I didn't go back to Cuba for 2 years, so I hit the age of 15, and my mom hooks it up with this summer job. And with the possibility of going to Cuba, we could already go back. We had like a residency or whatever. Because that's the thing. You kind of got to wait for your papers and stuff to go back. You can't just like instantly go back.
Oh, yeah. I thought you couldn't go back once you came, but you can?
You can. After a certain time, you can. And that's super interesting because if you come as like a person, humanitarian crisis and all of that, if you come through that sort of paperwork, then it's kind of ironic that you go back. But they allow you to go back. It brings them money. Yeah. Think about it. From the plane ticket to whatever else you do, all the money is like going to the government. And that's kind of their business. I feel like family separation is the Cuban government's main business. And it's because, bro, like, there's a lot of Cubans. There's millions of Cubans, like 2 to 3 millions of Cubans outside of Cuba, and all of those people got family in Cuba. Like personally, my dad has his twin brother there. His dad. My mom has her sister there and her mom, which my grandparents. We have a home still, like the home that my grandma lives in, the home that I was born and raised in, and stuff like that. So we're not gonna let those people starve. And what they do is like they raise the prices on the population enough so they're not even able to afford it. And the people really struggling is the people that don't have somebody in the outside caring for them. Because since things are cheap for us and expensive for them, the only way for you to like save your family is by providing to them. And in reality, like, say you give them like $100 a month, like that's a lot for over there. Like $50 a month, that's a lot for over there. But then that money is just gonna like escalate and go. People gotta do what they gotta do. They gotta eat. They gotta buy food. They gotta do this and that, and it's very complicated. But yeah, bro. What happened to me was that without thinking of none of that, at the age of 15, my mom hooked it up with this summer job that was only 1 month. So I was working 9 to 5, with her at her office, every day for a month, and then I would get all of that money, which was around like $1,000,
that's a lot.
and go
As
to
a
Cuba,
15-year-old,
bro.
yeah.
I used to go with that money to Cuba for a whole month, and live there for a whole month. Didn't have to pay rent, cause like anything, like I didn't have to like buy a hotel room or anything, cause I have my house right there, I have my room right there, and I just had that money. Like I hadn't. Yeah, bro. I had, and that's what I'm saying. $1,000. That's a lot, bro. That's a lot for Cuba.
Yeah, and for a 15-year-old in general, that's a lot.
Yeah, man. Because in reality, like at 15, like over there, you gotta be 18 to go to clubs and stuff like that. So it was all like, it was just hanging out during the whole day. The drinking age is relative. You can drink at 14. Like they'll sell you the stuff. Like. They're not really on that. They're not really like checking for IDs or anything.
You're with your old buddies.
So I was just buying bottles for a lot of my friends. Yeah. My old friends that can never afford that. I can never do that. I was just like chilling a whole lot. My house was big. Like people were staying over. We used to get like a house somewhere like out in a beach town called Guanabo. And they have like rental houses over there and all of that. We were all like kind of like pinching out. I'll put like, I have like friends with better possibilities than other friends. So they're not trying to rip me off. They're really just trying like, okay, I can put in this much, like, and then I could probably like either cover the rest or whatnot. But yeah, it was super fun. Like like 2 years after, and so I did that for like 3 years straight. Because the first time was just so fun, and then being 15 in the States, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Being 15 in the States, you're not out all day like that, or night pulling up to your crib late as fuck, this and that. You're not like, I had no adult supervision. I was just with friends all the time. Friends I know.
Sounds like college without the schoolwork.
Yeah, man, without the school, like literally a summer, like just a summer, just a month of just like no worries, bro. Like. Really no worries, just eating out every day all the time. It's extremely cheap, so even if I was splurging, I never ran out of money like that or none of that. And that was that. Then I stopped doing that because I was like, I grew up, and because part of that was me missing my friends over there, and then being able to just really chill like big time with my friends over there. But then I did my life here. I reached a point where most of my real friends, my close friends, were here and not 90 miles away. And they did their lives over there. So it's not even personal. It's still love. It's just like, bro, we live in different countries. You know what I'm saying? And I stopped doing that, and then I went to Cuba like twice after that. And then the last time I went, I was 21, so that was 3 years ago, and that shit was depressing, bro. Depressing. aside from whatever happened to me over there, because basically, long story short, bro, at the airport they stole all my money. Like all the money that I was taking there and money that I was bringing to my family and my parents were bringing to their families, this and that, it got stolen because I put it in a carry-on, and the carry-on wasn't wrapped. Like when you go to Cuba, you gotta wrap your like plastic wrap your luggage.
Yeah.
And I had a carry-on that was gonna go with me the whole time. And then before going into the plane, they're like, "Oh, we ran out of space for the carry-ons, so we gotta like check it at no cost or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I grabbed my passport, but I left my little bag with the money in there. And when they checked through it at the TSA, they just took that shit. But, and I don't know if it was in Cuba or if it was here. Like they do that, like, and you can't really say much because, especially if you didn't report that you were bringing in that money, like on paper, there's little to no chances of getting that back. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
so you say you have to wrap like the bags you check?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
If you check
Yeah.
your bags to Cuba, you gotta plastic wrap that
It's not just
motherfucker.
Cuba. There's a lot of places where you gotta wrap
For
your
real?
bag.
Yeah, man.
Don't-
At the
don't go into
airport.
your shit.
Yeah, bro. At the airport, like during through the terminals that go to Cuba, they have people that for like $15, they wrap your shit. Cause me and my parents, we used to do it at the crib. We buy the plastic wrap and we just like, like twist it around. We also take a lot of things to Cuba. There's like no resources at all. So when we go, we really use like our maximum capacity
Yeah.
of things that we can bring or weight or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know it's like that for Haiti too.
100%.
Yeah, man, because I've presence. I've been at the airport. I know the planes that go to Haiti, and I know that that y'all be taking stuff over there, my stuff. And then
Yeah.
also Haiti is like a kind of like a free world. So
Bro, I feel like
it's
that's
crazy.
It works like that for a lot of like third world countries where
Yeah, man.
you gotta send goods and yeah, man.
All types of goods, from clothes to whatever. Like, bro, my mom, I've been trying to donate to Goodwill and stuff like that, and my mom was like, "Bro, like, what do you mean Goodwill? Like, just give me everything that you don't want. Just hand it to me. Like, she'll find a way and she'll chip it. She'll send it." But yeah, man, last time I went, it was depressing because I was conscious. I knew what was going on. I had my outside of Cuba money, and I was seeing tourists and how they lived, and I was seeing how like there were houses in this neighborhood falling down, and they were building a 7-star hotel right next to it, and it's just like, bro, like the city is falling down in pieces. Like, why is your hospital so dirty? Like, why do the bathrooms not work at the hospital, but you're building a 7-star hotel? That makes no sense. You already have enough hotels. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're packed.
Damn.
And it's just, it just, and also, I have my grandmother, bro. My grandma's 93. But it really hurt me a lot because that one time, I realized that was one of the last times that I was going to go to Cuba. And I really want to go again because, I became more conscious about a lot of things and about my past. And I have my grandma at 93 still alive. So I really want to use my chances, all the chances that I have, to go and ask her, yo, like, let me know about your grandma. I'm trying to go way back, because unfortunately, my mom on my dad's side passed away when he was young. So I never met her. And then my grandfather, on my mom's side, passed away when I moved to the States. So pretty much, like, I love them and all of that. I still love them. But back then, I wasn't thinking like, Grandpa, please tell me all about your past.
Yeah.
And as far as you remember, please, because I'm really trying to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things had to happen for us to be sitting right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I'm trying to go to Cuba soon, but my conflict comes with the sacrifice that Cubans outside of Cuba gotta make to see a certain change, because the only way to make the oppressor struggle is to defund the Cuban government. Literally, it's to like defund them. And defunding them means not traveling there, not sending shit. People pretty much letting the people out there like it's messed up, bro. It's super
Like,
complicated.
yeah, like they would have to suffer.
Yeah, man. So
in order
basically,
to-
if I go to Cuba like now, I feel like I would stay at my crib, and I would try my hardest not to waste a penny. Like I really track down. I would really like think about, hey, is this helping you? Is this helping the person that I'm purchasing this from? Am I going to a local restaurant? Because they do have like their little like individual people that do their stuff, but they're just being highly taxed by, inspectors and shit like that, and they just kind of like pay them off to do stuff that's illegal, because everything's pretty much illegal, bro. Like they're gonna be like, where you get this table? This table looks like it's from the United States. Like, where's your papers that you legally bought this table? Like, how do you bring it inside the country? Like this and that. They'll find a way to just mess you over if you're not paying them right or whatnot. It's super corrupt. And yeah, man, I feel like the only way to like make the oppressor struggle is to defund the Cuban government, but it's so hard to do because what I said about family separation. And then it's super, I don't know, bro. It goes because there's millions of people that live there, so they gotta make their way of living. You can't really be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, because in reality, it's their experience. And if they don't have a way out, they gotta make the best out of whatever they have, So even if it means working for the government, if that's what works for them, I don't even criticize them. It's just sad, man. Sad realities.
And do the like majority of the people there see a problem with it, or do you?
A lot of people over there see a problem with it. Now they're being more vocal. But whatever,
Yeah,
like there were riots and the sentences are coming out now, bro. They're giving like young people, like 15-year-olds, 20-year-olds. They're giving them like 10, 12 years in prison because of just stepping out and being like, oh, patria y vida or something like that. What happens is that they scare you, man. They do that to scare people. They do that so so the other people see what's going on to these people and they don't do it again. And I want to explain patria y vida real quick. So the government has a slogan that's called patria o muerte, which is motherland or death. Which is it's like a war. It's like a war call, but meaning like either we protect the motherland, and if we're not with the motherland, then it's death. And then but that basically means that to them, that basically means if you're not with us, then you're dead, or like you don't belong. They really like make that a point, and they tell you stuff like that since you're a kid or whatever. And so this artist came up and they made a song that's called Patria y Vida, which is motherland and life, and ironically enough, if you go out there and it's kind of like the opposition to them. So if you step out in the middle of a park in Cuba and scream motherland and life, they will come and lock you up. Literally, motherland and life. I'm not even trying to say like fuck your slogan.
Yeah.
I'm just making up my own slogan, which is way more positive. It's like, bro, we can have this and still be alive and still live in harmony. You know what I'm saying? Like we can make so much, bro. And yeah, to them it's like, nah, you can't do that. You can't play that song. You can't do nothing like that. So it's little things like that. So a lot of people like went out to the streets to protest pacifically, no violence. And all of these young people all across the island were locked up. They were waiting on sentences, and now they're getting like crazy sentences, bro. Like
that's how they play on you, though.
Yeah, man.
Going back to what we said earlier about fear, they use fear to control you.
Oh, bro, fear is the number one controlling aspect that they have. The thing about Cuba is that, and I'm gonna tell you a difference of the fear, because they use that here too, 100%, 100%.
Fear is used all over.
The thing about here is that it's the country of the free high key. So I feel like even though they try to implement fear, they could only go so far with that, you know. And in other countries too, they could only go so far with that. But when it comes to like depriving you of freedom, you know, caging you up or just like disappearing you, like they'll literally kidnap you, bro. The government would kidnap you and your mom would not know anything about you for days or weeks or whatever. If you're an activist, bro, like the 10 years and 12 years that I'm talking about is the people that stepped out one day, July 11th of last year. That's the people that went out one day. But if you're an activist, if you're the person from Movimiento San Isidro or whatever, San Isidro is a street in Centro Habana. It's like a neighborhood, and you know the artists were like they're doing like how do you call that when you go a lot of time without eating?
Fast.
Yeah, but not quite fast. There's like a hunger strike.
Hunger strike, yeah. Hunger
yeah,
strike,
they were going on hunger strikes. They were
strike.
like you know, like how do you call it when you like
Sewing their lips?
They were sewing their lips,
Oh, wow.
like doing shit like that, bro. Like just because they really believe in stuff like that. But those people, bro, are either being put in like mental institutes. They have no problem, bro. But they have no like you know what I'm saying? But they're being either put in like mental institutes or isolated or they're being looked up for way longer. And it's super crazy. So Patria y Vida, the song was made by like 4 artists that live outside of Cuba and in collab with 2 artists that lived in Cuba. El Funky, that recently made it over to the United States, and then Michael Obsobo, which is a guy that he literally like. So this song won Latin Grammy for Best Song of the Year last year, and this guy won. He literally has a Grammy, but he's still locked up in Cuba. He's a political prisoner in Cuba. And yeah, I mean the song that's where art takes in place, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like you can't take that away from him. Like you can't take the way they shook the country, the way they shook the world, like the way they made their voices be heard. You can't take that away from them. You can't. Like that's their purpose. Their purpose is to express themselves and be like, nah, this shit ain't right, bro. You know? And fuck it. I feel like that guy, he's gotta be the proudest motherfucker in jail right now, bro. And it's like he didn't even do anything. He's innocent. Why is he still locked up? Bullshit. Some bullshit. But yeah, man, it's reality. And that's crazy because some people come to our world to like impact like that. And I feel like since then and moving forward, change is coming. I feel like change is coming to Cuba. Change is a lot of times slow. And what happens is that the OG generation that created that system, it's you know, they've been going on for like 60 some years. But the OG generation is kind of dying off, and the generation that's coming up is their offspring, but pretty much their offspring is not like as strong, as smart. It's like, bro, if you like imagine if you were born on like if you were born and you were like pretty much the owner of a country, you know what I'm saying, with no effort. I don't think those people is really gonna be interested in, you know, taking charge. Gotcha. You know, they're like the elite family.
Oh yeah, the privilege.
Yeah, they're like the elite family. They're like the sons and granddaughters of this initial generation that made, because that's what happened. Like Fidel Castro just like got the government that was in Cuba and he like overthrew the government. So that was that, and he was just, that's it. Like boom, I make the laws now, and then whatever. The Constitution is all over the place. They will charge you for shit that's not even the Constitution. Like they'll make shit up on the spot, like to charge you and give you some years. It's interesting, super interesting. And sometimes I don't know. I have hope. You know, like I really do want to have hope, and I want to see my country be better. But you know, bro, every single person has their own experiences, and it's super easy to talk about this. Like I feel like every person that talks from outside of Cuba speaks from a very privileged point of view. Like I was just at the crib, bro. Like I was just at the crib. I drove here in my car. You know, I was watching soccer highlights on YouTube as I was eating something before coming over here. You know, I get to worry about other things because I don't have to worry about all these other things that these people worry about. So yeah, man. A lot of people argue that it's all like down to the people that's in the inside. But the truth is that nobody in the inside wants to die or get locked up, bro. You know, and they still want to make the most out of their experience while they're here. Life is too short, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can't lock up everyone, or maybe they could, right? Could they?
They can't, and that's the thing. That's the point that we're trying to make. But the truth is that they can't lock up anyone, but they will lock up some. And that's the thing. Like, not everybody's gonna come.
You gotta sacrifice.
Some of them are. Some people gotta sacrifice, and I mean, like more than before have done it. But then also like things like what happened on the 7th of this. It wasn't the 7th of July.
You said 11th.
The 11th of July, have happened before, and it's just kind of like it goes in cycles. Like they do certain stuff. Like for example, I don't know exactly what the situation was, but the funky guy, a lot of people say, oh, why did the two artists that were in Cuba from that song, why is one locked up and one was able to leave? And they just play mind games. They play mind games to the people as of, like, they kind of like let him leave the country, but they kind of like discredit him on it, like behind his back, like, oh yeah, look at this guy, he just wanted to leave the country. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and so they kind of like let off pressure by letting like leaders by basically kicking them out of the country. And basically what they hope is that they make them happy because now they're in a better place or something, but in reality they're just like taking a leader from the inside.
They play mental games.
Yeah, man. All these people from the inside, I'm pretty sure they give them the option of like, yo, what is it that you want me to like get you a flight right now? And the reason there's people that's locked up and all of that is because they're like, nah, bro, I'm doing this shit for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my purpose. I'm trying to, because these people got daughters and kids and this and that. And what, like, whenever I hear them talk, they're just like, bro, like, when my daughter grows up, it's going to be the same shit for her? Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people, like, that's their purpose. I feel like I don't have a child or anything, but I feel like if I did, instantly all of my focus would go into making the world better for my child. You know? There's this Cuban activist, I don't know her name, but she was saying that. Like, people would tell her, like, she's a writer, but she's really focused on what's going on in Cuba. And in an interview, they asked her, like, yo, what is it that motivates you? What is it that keeps you going? Like, and she says that what motivates her is a future grandchild that doesn't exist. She has no idea that, like, what is gonna be, what's gonna happen to her in the future. But she says that when that grandchild arrives, she just needs to tell him like what she did and why she did it and why the world is then better. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, that's a beautiful way to think about it. And that's also what my friend Julio told me about Cuba, because every Cuban has that conflict. At least every Cuban that's conscious about the freedom of Cuba has that conflict. It's like, yo, if I'm going there, I'm pretty much like contributing to that because I'm not defunding the government. I'm still funding them to do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me, like, bro, like, life is so short. Life is so short that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it takes a generation or something like that to just like really sacrifice just for the next generation. And that's the only purpose, just so the world is better for the ones that come next. And, you know, if you believe in future lives and past lives and next lives, it's all for yourself, bro. You know, all for the better. Cuba is a very complicated topic. Clearly, we've been talking about it for a little bit.
It is. It is. I'll bring it back to when you came here. Have you noticed, or did you notice, like when you got to like the United States, like kind of like the racial element, like because of your skin color. Like, but
Bro.
in Miami, it's like, well, yeah, because some people might not know you're Cuban. You're right,
I love that you asked that question because I find myself talking about this very often, very often. So I've I lived in Miami until 2015. No, 2015 I graduated. I lived in Miami until 2016, and then I went on a soccer scholarship to St. Louis, Missouri. Random spot.
Mhm.
But Midwest place, and there's definitely like segregation right there. It's Mexicans, like even if you're not just Mexican, like if you speak Spanish, they'll consider you that. It's they got little subgroups. They have like Bosnians. For some reason, I feel like this. I think that the second population, like the second largest population of Bosnians, aside from Bosnia, it's in San Luis. But they're part of the whites to me. So they got that. They got black, whites, and Mexicans. It's that division. They have a couple Middle Eastern people and all that. But all over the United States, you have all type of immigrants. But for example, the N-word is taken way more under consideration in a place like that than it is in Miami. And it's just because Miami is like highly, I feel like culturally advanced. I mean, that doesn't excuse anybody from using the N-word in a derogatory term or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know that it's way more normal to hear a non-black person say it in Miami than it is in other places. So to answer your question, being black, bro, you experience racism everywhere. In Cuba, people say that it's not racism, but there is racism. There is systematic racism.
Yeah.
And also, the reason why they say it's not racism over there is because in Cuba we're not segregated at all. Blacks, whites, tans. Everybody lives in the same neighborhood. There's not such thing as a black neighborhood, which exists in Miami, but there's not such thing as a segregated like area where it's just black people here and white people here. So that was odd for me coming over. And racism. What happens in Cuba is that for example, like everybody's friends, and they'll be like, "Oh, what's up?" Like, mi negro, like, yeah, my nigga, like, everybody is like, it's all love. But for example, me being black, I've been like a couple girls' first black boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, their parents go like, "Oh, you feel me? That's different."
Is it in Cuba or here?
In Cuba, here too. Oh, low key here too. I feel like that's just everywhere though. Like I feel like if you go to England and there's a white family and the daughter brings a black boyfriend in, not everybody of course, but most people, especially just older generations, but even people contemporary. Because I've had friends that don't consider themselves racist, and they're my friends, they're my brothers, but I know because I've heard from them, they're comfortable enough to express themselves this way around me. I know that they wouldn't date a black girl. I know that they worry about growing up having a daughter and the daughter dating a black brother. This scenario doesn't even exist. You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
That's racist.
That's hilarious.
That's racist. Bro. You know why? Because my guy, how you gonna tell me you wouldn't date a black person, bro? It's not you like what you like. But I've seen scenarios where it's just like this person likes this person, and the only blockage that they experience is that, and it all comes from society and how you're gonna be viewed or whatever, which shouldn't matter anyways. But these people wouldn't, even though they like the person, they wouldn't date them just because they're black. Yep. Like damn, like everything. She's beautiful. She's good. She's a good person. La, 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 but he black. But she black. What? You know what I'm saying? You racist if you think like that. Because how are you gonna tell me that you're gonna restrain yourself from this interaction that you want? just because of
Yeah.
the fact, just because of a person's skin color. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like there's not segregation. It's not that racism still exists, kind of like still in people's mind. I feel like this is the generation that's changing that. Um, just because I observe what's up. I observe, um, for during high school there was a term for a second that was jungle fever.
Oh yeah.
And, and I was like I saw some girls being proud of having jungle fever. They don't care. They're like, bro, I love my black people. You know
All
what
right,
I'm saying?
man. Hold on. Let me add something to that because I have to, man. So, but there's always been that. There's always been the population that feels one way about like interracial, relationships. But then you also get the people who love that. Like they're all for it. They all throughout history, it's always been like that. And you're right, now it's becoming more like you can see it more. You can see people, putting down their guards a little bit easier. But I feel like that's going to be an issue for a big chunk of time, at least for our generation. You know? It's always going to be there. It's just now it's more, you can see it more because of the internet, right? Before we didn't have that. We didn't know what was happening down the street. You would have to physically get up and go there or hear it from word of mouth. But now you see it all. It's
that's
super
a great
exposed. Point. So I think we're still going to deal with that. Even I've dealt with that. I've heard, oh no, I'm not going to talk to him. He's black. I've heard that. So that's not new.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
That's definitely a thing. So yeah, no, it was shocking to see. Like for example, Coconut Grove. Coconut Grove is a certain area and it's rich as fuck, and then from a certain street down, it's all black. And then more areas like that where just black people, it's definitely segregated.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like it's segregated, but it's not like physical. Like they're not forcing you to be there, but
and so
like,
man,
no
it's not line. The when they talk about the trap and stuff like that, it's systemic. I don't know. I say the two words because I don't know which one's correct, but it's
I don't even know.
it's mental. I think that since they kind of make some black people believe that that's all that they can do, and it's cycles. If a certain ambient is going on in your neighborhood, it's easy for you to, especially because you start young. You see like sometimes your parent figure or your hero or whatever as a child, it's not going about life in an ideal way. But then since that's all that's what you engage in, and education plays part and stuff like that. But if you come from a home but it's just like different, people, there's a reason for every single thing. But yeah, when people talk about the trap and about the blockage and lines and this and that, it's literally no lines. It's sometimes very mental. What the thing about Miami, bro, is that and I speak about Miami, it's just where I live. There's no, I feel like there's no white neighborhood. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys agree. I don't know if maybe I haven't been to those.
Okay.
But there is definitely, richer neighborhoods. There's definitely middle class neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. There's definitely neighborhoods where people vote no to making housing projects for people that don't have houses because they're scared of their house value going down, which is messed up because it's like, bro, if this is your crib, like, just let it be, bro. Like, are you really just trying to flip it and move somewhere else, or are you just being petty because you don't want poor people next to you?
Okay, all right. Let me.
Well,
I like.
Well, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I like when we get deep with this. So, my brother has a friend who he moved now, but when he was down here, he was a life coach. No, not a life coach. A lifeguard.
Yeah.
And he would work with like a whole bunch of kids around his neighborhood and his community. And his community was predominantly white, right? He lived in a his community was white.
Okay.
And so every time that I was around, because they would see me as, or he would see me as like a rapper, you know? Whatever. So every time that I would come around, he would say, you know, he would talk in a way that would make, as if he was trying to teach me something. Like, oh, you know, we go to places like this. For an example, Lagniappe. I've been to Lagniappe several times, but we went one day. He took me and my brother. And he was talking about the spot as if I've never been here or if I've never seen something like this. And I'm like, hold on, my brother. Like, you are black like me. You know what I'm like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you? I've been here. I've been places. So when he speaks about his neighborhood and he talks about how you know, he helps the kids or how the community see him as a figure. You know, the kids see him and they're like, hey, you know, hey, coach. Everybody's like happy to see him. What I noticed with that community, it's mostly white. This is Miami Shores. Of course, you get, you know, there's black people. There's all types of people. Yeah. But predominantly, that's what you'll get. And you can tell when you're in those neighborhoods, when you get into those pockets, just by looking at the neighborhood, just looking at the surrounding. Everything is clean cut. Everything is fresh. Bro, down the street, gas is, you know, like $3.10. The second you hop into this neighborhood, it's $3.70, $3.80, $4. Yeah, like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're paying for this location. You're paying for this location. There's spots like that, man, all throughout Miami, and it's crazy to believe, but I understand, man. It's like a club. It feels like a club.
No, it's definitely clubs. It's definitely clubs. I feel like if you drive down to like the Kendall area, there's also places like that. I feel what you're saying. The only reason why I said it's like non-white is because Miami is just it's just a bunch of immigrants and people go up in classes or whatever. So sometimes you don't even know, like,
and sometimes it's hard to tell, like, if a Hispanic person, they might look white.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. Yeah, bro. I work at this clothing store, bro. All types of people walk in, and sometimes I was like, bro, you speak Spanish? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not even surprised because everybody here does, man. It's amazing to me. I feel like that. You know how Puerto Rico belongs to the United States and their first language is Spanish and then their second one is English. Yeah. They should kind of do that here. I mean, it's better for kids anyways, and kids will learn, you know, and then, you know, just having immigrants come in, it's going to help them.
When you start teaching kids another language, like if they're racist, they'll be like, what are you doing to my kid, you know?
Oh, yeah, I feel you. Which is ignorant, which is super ignorant because, like, bro, and that's another thing, bro. And it's not only Spanish. I feel like there's a lot of Spanish going on in Miami because it was like, it wasn't funded by Cubans, but it was brought up. Like basically, like, one of those things happened where Fidel Castro just opened up the bay. And he was like, okay, whoever wants to leave can leave. And there were a bunch of programs like that. And people just pulled up to Miami and camped, like, to the Keys or Miami or whatever, and they, like, camped out. And then the city started, like, building up. I don't know I got to go back into the story of Miami and how that happened. Oh, I know that Coke was really involved in that. the Coke business, you know, that was really...
what blew up Miami.
Yeah, it was really a determining factor. But... yeah, and that's just what happened. And there's a lot of Cubans. You know what I'm seeing a lot of right now? Seeing a lot of Venezuelans.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of Venezuelans in Miami right now. And they were usually out in, like, Weston, Pembroke Pines area. And now they have Doral. And Doral is, like, growing. Like, since I moved out and back in, Doral has grown into its own little, like, you know, district. Not little. It's literally huge, and it's still building. And it's predominantly Venezuelan over there. Super dope. I love to see it. Haitian community. There's a lot of Haitians. And that's crazy because growing up, I used to live over by little bit past downtown, going into Coral Gables area, like 17th Avenue. You guys know Casolas, the pizzeria? It's like right off the I-95. Well, whatever. It's close to Coconut Grove. It's kind of like in between Coconut Grove, Brickell. You know, just that it's like a dead area. It's not Little Havana, but it's not like Coral Gables or Brickell or downtown either. It's just like kind of like in between, very centric. And where was I going with that? Oh, I used to never hang out around like neither Wynwood, Little Haiti, Alapad. I used to never hang out around those areas. And then I remember when I went to swear off for my citizenship. You basically you basically stand up and they start mentioning like how many people from each country there is in the room, and there was like 3 Argentinians, 2 they wouldn't go past like 10 in like all the other places, and then it was like 60 Haitians and like 70 something Cubans, and it's just like, bro, you know that these people will be coming here in bulk. But yeah, man, you know what about? Do you know Creole?
Yes, like yeah.
You do,
Yeah.
bro. I'm not telling you. I'm not saying you should do it. But I feel like there's a need for Creole, like Haitian music in Creole, like in Miami. There's a need for that. There's a lot of Haitians, so I feel like I should be hearing Creole, like some.
You know what they do with that? So
Yeah, let me know, because I'm also not Haitian, and I'm also
no, it's not, and it hasn't. All right, it has nothing to do with that. It's just because I remember this from middle school, especially middle school. That like dance type of music, it would sound like Jersey club music, but down south from Miami. That was like, how do you say, Haitian American music, if that makes sense. Because all of the schools that I went to were predominantly black, right?
Okay.
Like I mean 80, 90, like close,
Yeah.
pushing. And a good like half of the students, half of those, that 80% were Haitian and or Jamaican or Bahamian or something,
Caribbean, yeah.
Caribbean. And that music is what energized or brought like some sort of culture to that, community.
So let me ask you something. What do Haitians usually listen to?
Like Haitian music?
Yeah,
Like there's compa, there's
and that's traditional.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any like sort of modern fusion that happens?
100%. Okay, so music is being made like every day. We all know.
Yeah,
this.
of course.
It's what are you listening to, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
So you can make a
Like what's in your view, right? Like
yeah,
what's
basically.
on your radar.
You can make like amazing music right now, but who's listening to that music? Like where's your audience?
I feel that.
So you can't just, I can make a Creole song right now, a Haitian song right now, but it doesn't mean like I'll take over that space. It'll just be, Flamo with the new sound, if that makes sense.
I feel that.
But, I mean, I don't know. Like
It's interesting.
I love art.
Yeah, it's super interesting. The thing is, bro, that when I think about Cuba, you see me, like I think I make Cuban music, and I feel like it's genuine because I just like do it.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, I'm doing Cuban American music because that's what I am.
Yeah.
And I haven't included English. Like I've hopped on some English songs. I haven't included like English on any of my personal records just yet. Like I'm of course I'm gonna go there.
I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah. But I feel like Cuba, what happens in Cuba, and it's I'm glad that you mentioned the audience thing, because Cubans got internet, but they don't have like streaming platforms like that. Like these people are still on the data stage. You know, they're not on. They still nobody has like unlimited data still.
Gotcha. Okay.
So these people really gotta watch out how they use their gig, like their gigs, and
Yeah.
how, you know, like WhatsApp. You know, you can't send them like a fat video. They won't download that shit. It's too much money, like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like when I make a record that's, I guess, Cuban or whatever, the Cuban artist loses a lot of you know, I guess it doesn't matter. Like I don't care if I like send a CD over and you know, it's people. I just want people to listen to my music. But the thing is that they don't really have access to the music that I put out because they don't have access to Spotify like that, or like even SoundCloud or YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. It's kind of hard for them. So yeah. But I was asking because, for example, in Cuba, there is traditional music like salsa. You know, there's more, but let's just say salsa. And growing up, you know, reggaeton evolved in other countries like Puerto Rico and stuff like that, and Cubans took that in, and they kind of like mixed that with like the reggaeton, like the tum tura ta tum, with like trumpets, and you know, they kind of like mixed it with salsa, and they call it like cubaton, and that's like a little genre that came off of that. And then there's like reparto, which it goes like more with like it's more like pa 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 pa, and that is it's more of a fusion from like Afro-Cuban religion and also reggaeton, and it's kind of like in a faster pace, and it's all like very like you know, like they use different type of drums and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't have like super like knowledge, but what I'm saying is that it's a fusion from the old and the new, and that is kind of like extremely successful. And I kind of hear people doing that here too, but yeah, it's just interesting to like think about it, because I don't really see that out there either. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's just a different circle. In reality, like, there's a lot of people in Miami, bro. So there's a lot of I feel like Miami is good, and it should be it is a nice cultural hub, art hub, because of how diverse it is, and because of how much there, like, I feel like there's an audience for everybody. Like, if you are whatever you are, bro, you can pull up anywhere. And cause, bro, I pulled up to a bunch of places, and like I said, my music is all in Spanish, and my friends wouldn't either pull up to that place because it's like, oh, they call it gringo. They call it, it's gringo. It's Americans, like, that's a gringo place, like, whatever. But the reality is that when I go there, somebody speaks Spanish. I'm sure of that. It's Miami. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could, you know, I could speak English my whole life to you. Do you know Spanish?
Yeah.
I could speak English my whole life to you. Like, this is a weird thing. If I meet you in English, I'm never gonna speak Spanish to you, bro. I'm telling you right now.
That's fine.
Yeah, if I meet you in English for some reason, and then my brain also works in English, that's why translating is such a crazy ass job to me, because it's not like I can get this thing of like here and then like translate it perfectly in another language. Like, that's hard to do. But yeah, bro, like if you were in a spot like Roots or like somewhere else and I performed, you would be like, oh yeah, you know, I understand that. I that resonates. And I feel like people like Haitians that like maybe if they only speak Creole, but like, for example, my problem is that creativity comes in Spanish to me. That's how it comes. When I sit down and write, bro, I have English writings, but if I hear a beat and it's fire, what's gonna come to my head is in Spanish. That's how it is. That's just how it happens. Maybe it's a matter of practice. I didn't know English when I started writing, you know? So maybe if I start writing, you know, English thoughts to all these things, eventually I'm gonna be able to come up with songs like more easily. But yeah, I feel like anybody. If you Brazilian and you speak Portuguese, or if you are from whatever other place, and like, I feel like Miami is a place where you can go and like you gonna perform, or like you gonna put your music out there, and somebody will be like, oh shit. You know, like bro, I always use Roots, because Roots is like amazing, bro. Every time I go there, I meet like good people, and just a different bunch of artists. People, how many people perform in Roots in a night? A lot.
A lot, yeah.
It's 15-minute sets from 8 to 11. It's a lot of people, and bro, I know there's Haitians there. You know what I'm saying? I know there's people that if you perform in Creole, they're gonna be like, oh shit, I fuck with that. If you perform, I know there's somebody who speaks Portuguese there. Or something, yeah, man. Art, in reality, bro, if you think about it, our voices, because I'm a vocal artist. I don't play any instruments yet. I'm eventually, hopefully I find the freedom to sometime like dedicate myself to learning not one but many instruments.
Now that you're ending your job in January, maybe you could.
Bro, yeah, but the thing about ending my job in January is that's a big like unknown thing, because basically I'm working on a project. So the time that I'm gonna be off, I'm just gonna have the time to maybe go to the studio every day and stuff like that, to really like just finish strong, because here and there I gotta schedule myself super ahead, and the reality is that I have from 11 to 8, 4 days out of 7 days a week where I can't do anything. I'm gonna have all of that time now. But yeah, I'm trying to have like ultimate freedom, where I can like drop music and be like set to now like rehearse, or maybe work on my music. I'm just trying to live on my art. But that's what, if I were able to live on my art, I would literally like, write and record for a living and perform for a living, and then the rest of the time I would like invest it in learning shit or relaxing. Who knows? If you work too hard, sometimes you're like, nah, fuck that shit. But I feel like that's something that I enjoy, bro. I have instruments. They're fun to play, just like out of ear. But the thing is that I don't know anything about music theory, or I have like no technique. Like my best instrument right now is my I have like a little travel size cajon. Yeah, and I just be banging on that shit. That's that. But what was I saying though? Oh, with the whole English and Spanish thing, is that where we were at? I forgot where we went after that.
You're talking about
right
Miami.
before the instruments. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the other thing. I've been like the same way I've been to places and somebody knows Spanish. I've been to places where nobody knows Spanish, bro. I was just recently in St. Louis, Missouri, where I used to live at. Yeah. And I pulled up to, I like the Latino scene over there is kind of small. So me living there, I was cool with the DJs and the people that, before I did art, I was kind of like into fashion and stuff like that. So, I was really before I did music, I still did art, so I was cool with these people. And now that they see me doing music down here, they're like, oh yeah, bro, if you ever pull up, like, let us know, like we'll hook it up with a gig. And that's exactly what they did. When I went back, I went for my boy's birthday, and then the Friday of the weekend that I went, they set me up with a flyer, everything. They announced us there, and then like they gave us their platform at the club that they work at to go ahead and perform. Now I'm pretty sure that, except for the people that I know that pulled up for me, like nobody else knew Spanish. You know what I'm saying? And I always make it a point to be like, hey, bro, like if you don't understand what I'm saying, like don't even think about it. Like I was about to say, when I got into the instruments thing, I think of my voice as another instrument. It's just that, bro. You just adding another sound to all these other little sounds that are being put together. You ever been somewhere and there's somebody with a beautiful voice and they're not even saying words? They're just like, yeah, le, 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 le. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. Like, not with this voice, but with their amazing voice. Yeah. And you can't take away from that. The fact that it's not words don't mean nothing. Like, it's still like another sound. It's still energy that you're putting in there. It's still like melody. It's still harmony. all of that. So that's why I encourage all the non-English speakers. If you ever get, or even if you speak English and you get inspired to do another language, don't be scared of that. Because people gonna feel you regardless, bro. If it's genuine, if it's cool, bro. If you got flows, bro. I don't know. For example, I don't know how to play instruments. I don't know how to produce my music. So my whole life before I really started getting into music, I was like, oh, I don't know music because I didn't go to school for it, and I don't know any theory, this and that. And the reality is, bro, the reason that I believe that I sound good is because I do know music. I don't know all those aspects, but I know flows, I know sound, I know how to project my voice in a certain way where it sounds good. You know what I'm saying? So like, you don't need words for that. If you sound good, bro, it don't matter. Think about it. It doesn't matter if what you're saying doesn't really matter. Of course, it matters. But have you seen people say like some bullshit and then still sound good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that makes all the difference sometimes, and it's because and the reality is that words are just words. You can use them to transmit a message, but you can like repeat them all over and over and make something cool out of that. I don't know. It's interesting, bro. I love music.
How did you get into music? What was like your first introduction?
So back in Cuba, I got into writing way before I got into music.
Like poems or
yeah,
just
poems. I feel like it was always musically inclined, but I never really like chased it as a actual profession. I never. You always want to be a rapper. Like it ever happens to you. I feel like this happens to most people, where you hear a song and you resonate so much and you like it so much that you're like, oh, I wish that I was that person, and you like perform it even in the shower or whatever. But it's like, yo, I wish that I wrote that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's so good. That's kind of what happened to me when I was younger. I feel like when I was like around 9 or 10, there's this group in Cuba. It's called Los Aldeanos, and these people were underground rappers that their songs, their content were about society problems, therefore against the government. And so these people were like, like censored, like canceled. You can't listen to them. Like my cousin Rainier that played them for me, he was like, bro, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna give you this music right now. I'm gonna pass it to you. It's fire, but you cannot play it out loud. Like this is for you. You can't play it out loud. You can't sing this like this and that. And these people were just rappers, underground rappers. They're pretty good. They're to me. I recommend them. I recommend them to you both. They're my favorite rappers, so I think they're the best ones in the world. Like the best.
What's the name?
Los Aldeanos. Yeah. Los Aldeanos. La Aldea is a village, so they're like basically people from the village. And yeah, man, these people were really nice, and they had that, and they also had like romantic songs and stuff like that, all in rap, very American. Like I feel like the production, the backgrounds was they're kind of old school now, but they were very like American influenced, with the beats and whatnot. But yeah, I listened to those people, and that was the first time that I ever thought to myself, oh, I could probably like just like write this. I got into like performing a little bit when I was that age, in like little like school programs and stuff like that. But I was like scared shitless the whole time, and I had my friends that kind of like supported me, so that makes it easier. But still, until like 3 years ago, I was scared shitless, bro, to perform in public. Like just like a college school presentation. You know how you gotta do like the final, bro.
Public speaking.
Yeah, bro. Like I swear to God, bro. I don't know if it was English. I had this class over there in St. Louis, Missouri, where the whole class was piece of cake, bro. And then the final was to put up a presentation and just like do it, just present it. And he was like, oh, he gave you a day, it's the whole class, and then as part of the class goes one day and the other part goes the other day. And if you don't go that day, you have no redos. Bro, I swear to God, I knew that I was gonna fail that shit, and I pulled up. I mean, I didn't pull up to that class. And then out of fear, bro, I had it. I did it. I did the project. And I got like 0 for the presentation because I just didn't show up. And then I showed up like the next class and it was like, bro, I can't let you present. Like, I told you the day off. And it was literally out of fear. But yeah, with that I say, back then I was just writing. And then I got into music as a profession. Like 2-3 years ago, I went to this tough thing in life where I was like really comfortable where I was at. And this was my last year in St. Louis, Missouri. I was really comfortable like with life, and it wasn't good. Like comfort just, I didn't know that I was just being comfortable. But like you said earlier, I was really like repeating like these cycles that were like not good for me. And when I realized it, I crashed. And something chaotic also always happens that makes you realize, or something like that. Something wakes you up from that. And to me, it was a breakup. I used to live with my old partner, and the breakup happened. And when you think everything is like good or like all right, and then something like impactful happens, you start like thinking about it all. You're like, what is it that went wrong? You know what I'm saying? And usually, in relationships, if the relationship is not good, it's usually both parties like just not agreeing with each other and not being on the same page and whatnot. But nothing that really made me realize what was it that was going on with me personally, because that's pretty much all you can do. You only know what's here inside of you. And bro, that pushed me to do music. That gave me the time and the solitude, to start writing again. And for a second, I had realized that I had stopped writing. Then I went ahead and started doing it, but trash was coming out. Because here's what happens. I don't know if this happens to you, but if you don't write for a second, and you wanna write a song like you used to, like 3 months after not writing ever, it's like working out. You're gonna be sore. You know what I'm saying? And
like if you don't practice, you lose.
Yeah, I feel like I was in a point in life where I had no inspiration, and then that chaotic situation gave me the solitude and the inspiration to just write hellas, bro. Writing is therapeutic. Like, even if you don't make music, bro, I recommend that you write your thoughts, because when you write what's on your mind, you're speaking to yourself. You're talking to yourself.
Yeah, I think it's important too. Like, I have my own journal where I write my thoughts, and
you write your thoughts. You write what you did, where you at mentally, how your body feels. Like, if you had no inspo, you should go them ways. And bro, that helps a lot. You talking to yourself helps a lot. And then eventually I was like, bro, this is good enough. This is genuine and good enough. I'm gonna hop on these beats. I kind of like fast forwarded from back when I was in 9th grade until now. But during high school and all that, like, my friend, that's now my business partner and like everything. Julio, him and I used to do videos. If you dig through my Facebook page, I'm gonna get those out sometime. But if you dig through my Facebook page, I have like videos of me like younger, like short hair, like just like, it's kind of cringe. It's not too good, but it was where I was at back then. But that's how far as I went. We would do videos. We wouldn't even record it on mics or anything. Just like videos, literally reading off our notes, and we would put that shit up. And
what would you read your poem?
Yeah, we read my poems, whatever I wrote on top of whatever beat we found on YouTube. So it was like literally a phone camera, like an Android phone camera, and whatever was playing in the laptop, and then just us.
That's still like, I feel like that's still like a big move, like, because you put it out there and
and it was fire. Like this was years before I started doing this. It was like 10th grade in high school and stuff like that. So like a lot happened. Like, I wanted to become a soccer player and stuff like that. So like music was never like in my plans, but it found me again, bro. And that's I'm super glad because this is what I want to do now. You know what I'm saying? Like for good. Um, but yeah, like during those times, it was cool because it was saying like, as a 15, 16-year-old, like I wasn't really going out or anything. I was just literally sitting down with my friend and writing verses about whatever. And I feel like when you go back, it's kind of interesting because the things that we were talking about, it's just whatever. It's just interesting, but it's what you think about when you are at a certain point of life. But yeah, the other thing that happened with the music thing is that not only was I being alone and hanging out with my friends more because of the breakup, but in that I used to live in an artist apartment, meaning that you submitted to be rented there, which was extremely cheap. To rent a place there, you had to submit a portfolio, as an artist, and I didn't have that. I didn't consider myself an artist back there, but my ex partner did, and so that's what she did. She submitted a portfolio, and then the portfolio um got us that apartment. But the reason why you had to do that is because the apartment had studios. It didn't have a music studio, but it had a soundproof room with two doors to get in, and like pianos and stuff. It had a dance studio. It had a ceramic studio. Wow. You know what I'm saying? All of that. You get all of that with just living there, access to all of that. And once we saw that we had a soundproof room, my friend and I literally bought like a computer, a mic, and some headphones. And we just went in there, GarageBand, started plugging in the beats to the thing and recorded on that. And the shit would come out like extremely clean because it was soundproof, bro. It was just nice. And we would tweak around and fuck with it a little bit. But it was really fun. Like, the thing is that when you don't do that and you start doing that and you start hearing your voice on this mic and how it comes out when you listen to the song and the little clips that you can make and, when you start having fun with that, it's just extremely fun. And I was like, bro, like, what happens is that you start thinking like, okay, I can do really whatever with this. You know what I'm saying? And at first, I wasn't serious. At first, like, if you listen to my first couple projects, you can tell. You can tell from the latest ones the difference in sound quality. And it's because I was just recording and putting shit out just to have some content out. But yeah, man, and obviously, if you have nothing, and it's not that you have to put music out, but if you haven't put like work in and whatever, it's hard to connect with other people to kind of like help you achieve better quality. Because what is it that you're doing that I could be interested on and we can collab? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those projects kind of help. Like, for example, the person that I record all my music with is my boy Rico, and before I left Miami, I knew that he made music, but I wasn't into music. So when I came back, I hit him up. I was like, bro, I'm doing music, this, and that. And Rico never replied to me because he does music for real. Like, he's serious about it. He does music every day. And he hit me back up whenever I dropped those albums that I'm talking about, those little albums that I'm talking about. The first one, actually, like the most rough one. And basically he heard something, and he's like, okay, like, I can make you sound better than this. This is all good, but it can, if you record it how you're supposed to in the tempo you're supposed to, like, he's taught me a lot. And yeah, man, it just takes just doing it. It takes just doing it, and then you'll see whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's what a lot of things in life, right?
I feel like everything in life. I feel like school could be a scam. But if you go into school, you have to have an open mind. You just don't feel like you gotta finish the career that you thought you were gonna.
Going in with like a blueprint.
Yeah,
like, man, you're gonna do this and then this and then this.
Yeah, man. The thing about, also it's time and money. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if financial aid got you or something like that,
Yeah.
just really try out your options. You know, get your good grades so you don't lose that shit. But really just try out. Don't, because a lot of people will go and spend 6 years of their lives, bro, and or 8, and to become something that they don't even want to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's where, like, bro, I'm doing school again. I'm doing mass communications, so journalism. But this is the third major that I engage in. You know what I'm saying? And it's because I did psychology and I did physical therapy. I think my mic. Okay, I did psychology and physical therapy for a while, and my parents are like, "Oh, you wasted so much time like doing those things." No, I didn't. What I did was I started the pathway, and then I realized that I didn't like it. I'm not about to become a physical therapist, bro. No, I have to take all these classes that I don't even like. I have to, I feel like if who's gonna be a physical therapy? Somebody that really likes biology, somebody that really likes and is interested in knowing like every single part of of the body, the human body, and stuff like that. I'm not like that. You know what I like? I like to write. With the classes that I'm taking now, public speaking, which is completely different from back when I had to do presentations, because now I'm used to public speaking. I'm taking creative writing. I'm taking mass communication classes. This is like stuff that I'm interested in, stuff that is gonna redirect to my career, bro. If I get strategies like that, aside from connecting with the people personally, that's why I hate online school, because you don't it's people behind a screen and through a WhatsApp group. Like, I'm not really connecting with those people. I feel like if I have the opportunity to be in a classroom with people, I'll connect in a way better. But COVID and shit. but yeah, man. That's how it is for everything in life. I encourage, and I'm so glad that my parents, as a kid, they kind of like, they always had. I don't have parents that are like, oh, you gotta be a doctor, oh, you gotta be a lawyer, oh, you gotta be that. How parents create those expectations. They still got their expectations, and coming from Cuba, in Cuba, basically, if you go to school, bro, and you don't do like, you can go to school for whatever amount of years, and the person that didn't go to school, that works in tourism or works just hustling on the street, will make more money than you, will make more money than a doctor, and stuff like that. So them coming from Cuba to the States, thinking, oh, over there, if you went to school, it was for no reason, but over here, if I brought you over here, you gotta do school, because over here you do get a degree, and the degree will get you a job that would pay your bills or whatever. They never went to school here, so they don't know that it's a scam, and that it can mess you over with debt. And that you don't want to have a huge debt just because you study something, and then you're gonna get a job that's gonna help you literally pay that debt and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go into debt. I just feel like society puts a pressure on people on how long it should take for you to finish a degree. I don't believe in that, bro. I feel like nobody should be getting overwhelmed with a bunch of classes a semester. You just take 2 at a time, bro. Like, really live your life and like work towards something. Like, take your time, work on your schedule, but really try it all out. I feel like you shouldn't cast anything out if you don't try it. Whenever I have my child, bro, like my parents did to me as they could, as much as they could in Cuba, and then over here too. I feel like we should encourage like the young people to just like try everything out. Try everything out. See what you like, because I think it's important to. This happens in sports. Sports is different, because, for example, for art, I know that I'm gonna be doing this shit forever, for life. That's it. Like, regardless of whatever we think success is, and whether I make a lot of money out of it or not, I know that I'm gonna do it forever. So that's it. I found my thing. I found the thing that I truly enjoy it, and that gives me peace and hope and whatever. But do you ever think like? Do you ever go ahead and think, oh, I wish that I was younger, bro? I wish that I thought, like, sometimes I think to myself, I wish that I started doing what I started doing 2 years ago when I was 17. You know what I'm saying? Or when I was
do have those
18,
thoughts,
when
yeah.
I was 18 and 19, bro, I thought that I wanted to be a soccer player, and I left Miami on a soccer scholarship to go and train. What happened to me? Yo, I realized that the reason not everybody makes it is because not everybody is willing to run all these miles. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is willing to work out and do suicides and really put the work in and train extra and this and that. You know what? You know, for music, I don't care being in the studio for however long.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I truly enjoy it and I enjoy the result of it. You know what I'm saying? Soccer, yeah, it's different. I could play it for fun. I'm playing soccer tonight. I gotta
bro.
do that more, bro.
Where are you playing?
I'm playing in. I have no idea. It's
Yeah.
it's like around downtown, but I don't know the name of the place.
Yeah.
It's one of those indoor places,
Yeah.
and yeah, but not as a profession. It's not for me as a profession, and I realized that at 18, 19, I realized that. But guess what? I had to do that to see what's up. You know.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like what you were saying, do you ever like? If I knew what I knew now, or if I knew then what I knew now, I feel like that really applies for basketball actually, because like I feel like now, like not even now, but like even up to a few years ago, if I knew if I knew what I knew now, when I was like 10 or 12, I would like be dominating the basketball.
You feel me?
Yeah, like
Yeah, man.
I'd be dominating.
All of that. It's life is like that, bro, and it's about just knowing, and that's what I'm saying. Like sports is different because if you all of a sudden realize that you wanna do stand up comedy, you can do that, and your age doesn't matter. The thing about sports is that
Like,
if you wanna get hired, if you wanna get signed, like age really it's determinant.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get signed past a certain age, and here in the States it's slightly different because I feel like they go up to like 24 or something like that just because of college. You know, like if you're a senior in college, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? And you're still playing college, you can fuck around and get signed somewhere. But yeah, bro, it's hard. It's hard because in sports they really look at your age, and if you're past a certain age, they're not gonna even like let you try out. But yeah, you ever done sports?
I'm not a sport.
You're not a sports
Not a
person?
sports.
Guy, no.
I was definitely a sports guy, bro. I used to be in love with baseball when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of sports. I did baseball. I did track. I don't like track. Like I'm fast and I have endurance. My mile time was pretty good. 6 minutes.
That's good.
Is that a good time?
Yeah, that's good. Better than me.
But at a certain point, that was at my peak. I'm not doing that shit in 6 minutes right now. But I feel like running, and that's the thing about soccer to me. Like I could run forever, while being in the game. In the game, bro, I'll hustle. I'm a defender. So yeah, I'll run after you. I'll tackle. I'll do this and that. But then the training aspect of it, a lot of it is without a ball. You know, a lot like endurance and conditioning is without a ball, and that's my problem with it. I'm like, I'm not willing to run all these miles and this and that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. I realized that I wasn't. I did it for years, and then I was like,
when
no.
it comes to the practice, it's like it's more rigorous than the
game.
Yeah.
So and it makes sense because when you go into the game, you're fit to run all 90 minutes, and that's fire. If you feel good. If you're conditioned, bro, and you go into the game, you really enjoy it because then endurance is not your worry.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna last. You're gonna be good to play that amount of minutes. If that makes sense. But yeah, bro.
The practice. That's what
Practice
separates greatness.
It really does. It really does, bro. There's only a couple. I feel like even talented people, very talented people, if they're bullshitting, like they're gonna be like like whoever does practice is gonna like take their spot, basically. Yeah.
I mean, that was Kobe was like the ultimate practice guy.
Yeah, man. I was just talking about Kobe.
But
His
All right,
death
Igor.
was sad. But
that was
yeah, bro, you guys are fire, bro. I
Oh,
don't.
thank
How
you.
long have we been talking?
like 2 hours,
2 hours.
7 minutes, right down the bottom.
That's a lot of time, bro.
Yeah, that is what-
I don't know if it's the
Thank you.
kratom, but I haven't even felt that shit. It's not even the kratom, bro. It's
Thank you
like,
for coming out.
it's perfect. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Combination of deep thinking individuals. That's the first thing that I noticed. I forgot whose episode I was watching, but it was like extremely deep. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you ever think about this? And it's just like, fuck yeah, I think about this shit. Fire stuff, bro. Much love to you guys. Thank you for providing you guys this platform.
Shout out anything you want.
Yeah, man. You know, El Igor in all platforms. I have my project coming soon. It's gonna be called Igorcito, which is my childhood nickname. People in my dad's name is also Igor, so it's Igor and Igorcito. You know, I'm the junior, and yeah, bro. Shout out to y'all,
Thank you.
the Non-Stop Squad, and we're here, man. Non-stop for sure.
Stop. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Deep Thoughts.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Our link tree is in the description, and you can check out previous videos on the YouTube channel. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and a review. Maybe we'll read it on the podcast one of these days.
After you leave that rating and review, be sure to share it with friends, family. You know, Deep Thoughts. Come on, family. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's grow.
Y'all take care. Peace.
But the sage, yeah, bro, I'm down. I love the sage, bro. That shit is like next level calming. And you know what's crazy? I used to think I used to hate the smell. Not hate it, but like I used to just like be like, oh, it smells like old. That's what I used to think about sage.